Before we get into how to start using C++, you have to learn what it is and how it came about. The reason for this is simple. To truly know something, you have to know everything you possibly can learn about the subject, especially when it comes to something so technical such as computer programming. C++ is a very important part of computer and internet history. It is simply something that is interwoven within the history of the technological world as we know today. Furthermore, the apps and other functions on a smartphone would not exist if it were not for C++. When you're learning C++, you'll be filled with wonder at the fact that one programming language can have so much impact in our daily lives. Almost every computer ever built can be attributed to a specific aspect that can be traced back to the language of C++. One of the benefits of learning this language is the ability to learn other languages with ease. Having the ability of learning C++ will enhance your knowledge of other programming language, which is why many people regard it as the godfather of computer programming. Furthermore, many big companies still need programmers that have C++ as they rely on this programming language to run their central computer system. So, when the going gets tough, just know it'll benefit you in the long run. So stay strong and get in the programming mindset. Computers contain two functional components, software and hardware. The hardware is the physical parts that spin, compute, and use electricity to perform calculations. But software is a more virtual concept. Essentially, software consists of programming code that gives instructions to the hardware, telling the parts what to do. There is high-level software such as internet browsers, word processors, music players, and more. But the often overlooked component is the low-level software known as an operating system. Operating systems are required for our personal computers to work. At an office or with a relatively inexpensive desktop computer, the operating system used is probably Microsoft Windows. Content creators, writers, and graphic artists prefer Apple computers because they come with a creativity-focused OS X operating system. Those two OSs, Windows and OS X, have dominated the consumer market for many years. However, an alternative operating system exists that excels in usability, customization, security, and price. OSs based off of the relatively unknown Linux meet and exceed in all of those areas, but it remains an obscure option that many people have not even heard of. Linux is not an operating system by itself. It is a kernel, or the core of an OS. Just as Windows NT is the kernel of Windows 7, Linux is the kernel of distributions such as Ubuntu, Debian, Arch, Fedora, and more. But why would anyone abandon the familiarity of Windows for an unheard-of computing environment? Linux is not only monetarily free, but it is also compatible with a huge range of devices. Older computers, and especially ones that no longer work, can be rejuvenated with a Linux OS, making it run as though it were new again. This book will explicate upon the benefits of switching to Linux, as well as serve as a beginner's guide to installing, configuring, and using the most popular distribution. Then, the terminal command line will be explained to tell how to take advantage of the OS in ways not possible in other systems. Truly, there are many advantages to be gained by switching to Linux, and you might just find a suitable primary OS to use on your computers by reading this book.